Oh shit on the stick, I'm always forgetting to switch these things off before packing them away. Gonna kill all the dolphins at this rate.
Everybody loves a sweet standard and hates spending money, so here's a video all about gear.
Oh yeah, here we go. If you like 50mm lenses but hate spending, well here are 5 superb thrifty nifties which are so kind on your pocket you might as well buy all 5 of them, which is what I did. Here they are, in no particular order.
First off, if you want to save some money, go for f1.8 instead of f1.4.
Those big ass apertures might look down on you with derision, but you can quietly amuse yourself knowing that they've got big ass apertures, and the fact that f1.8 is quite often the better performing lens.
With Nikon or Canon, old or new, quite often the cases with the extra speed gain you get a compromise in image quality. Boo!
And Canon's 51.4 USM is their worst 50 in their lineup. It's not as fast, not as sharp, and definitely not as cool as the f1.2L, and not as sharp as the f1.8, which is why I bought one of these, the Thrifty Nifty 50.
Sadly, brand new, the Canon 50mm f1.8 is a little bit over $100, but for a lot less than $100 you can get this.
This YongNuo is $49, and it's a clone, which means they copied the shit out of Canon, and there's a bit of variation in quality from unit to unit, but you can pretty much get potentially the same performance out of this as the Canon, guilt-free. If you can ignore the fact that it's a blatant rip-off and it's probably made by a couple of kids in a sweatshop in China. Great!
Comparing the Canon and YongNuo, almost identical sharpness, although this YongNuo I have is a little softer towards the edges. Bokeh, same but different. I'm happy with my original from Canon though, but go for the copy by all means. Talking about copies.
Well, it's not a copy as such. You see, after the war, on their journey to try and reach Berlin before the Allied forces, they happened upon the Zeiss Jenner, nothing to do with Kylie or Kendall, factory, and thought, yeah, I'll have a bit of that. This is based on the 50mm f2 sonar. Build quality is good, although it kind of falls short of what you expect a Zeiss lens to be like, but that's because it's not a Zeiss lens. This is $30. Just like all lenses of that era, it is a low contrast lens and it's pretty soft wide open. Bokeh is uniquely sonar though. It's classic, not creamy as such, but it has plenty of character.
Moving on, here's the rant of the week.
Look, I don't want to piss on somebody's Kickstarter Indiegogo. That's a lie. But check this out.
Many times during our first project, we had been asked by so many of our supporters to bring back the Biotar 58 as soon as possible.
Now, here's my beef. How is this a world record when this lens has more aperture blades? And also this lens. And the thing that blows my mind is that these blogs simply copied and pasted this company's world record claims to their titles without researching the validity of that claim.
Capture those miraculous moments.
Well, like turning water into wine. Snap.
The so-called modern lens is made to capture reality.
What, as opposed to capturing something in my imagination?
Of Biotar photography.
Outstanding sharpness, miracle bokeh. Stop! They're saying the full retail price of this is $2,000. A Canon 50mm f1.2L is $1,300. Nikon 58 1.4 $1,600. A Zeiss Milvus $1,200. That's an actual real Zeiss lens. Summicron 50mm f2 $2,300. Only $300 more than this.
Save money, buy the original, much cheaper. Or you can go for a much cheaper alternative. From the country that brought us borscht and vodka comes a milestone in copied optical engineering excellence. Do you believe in miracles? Your pocket will.
And for a lot less than $100 you can get a Helios 44, which is a 13-bladed copy of, you guessed it, the Zeiss Jenner Biotar 58 f2.
Or if you don't have to have lots of blades, you can get Helios 44 too for less than $30. I did. Bang for your buck.
If you're going to shoot wide open, this is going to be just as good.
Up to you if you want to obsess over number of blades. The fun stuff is always wide open though. Just saying.
I mean, it all looks the same wide open anyway. Most importantly, the bokeh is unique on this thing wide open, perhaps more so on this than the original Zeiss. In the right conditions, you can get some super swirly bokeh. And if it's a swirly goodness that you like, you should look for the early versions, the 44, 44-2, and 44M.
I know what you're thinking, this is a 58mm, not a 15mm, but technically not all 50mm are exactly 15mm anyway, but if you want a 50 in this list, I'd go for this Canon FD mount.
Like the Helios, this is also an M42 mount, screw mount, and it's not just with the recent X cameras that Fuji's been making lenses. They've had a long history of making optics, so they know a thing or two about making decent quality glass. With classic lenses, part of the thing that you have to appreciate or accept is that, as some might say, they have that special glow, which is a nice way of saying they're soft as baby poo wide open. But some of these lenses make that compromise less of a kick in the testicle region by having super lush bokeh, and this Fujinon is one of them.
Cheesy licious? Oh yes, the background melts away nicely like a cheesy Swiss fondue.
This lens might be quite hard to find, but for that price and that bokeh, I'll quite easily give it a lick.
Don't lick your lens, you nutter, and definitely not with this next one.
Back in the good old days, some lenses use radioactive elements or coatings with high refractive properties. This second version of the Takumar 50mm f1.4 has a thorium oxide coating which has a long half-life of 14 billion years, which means it lasts almost as long as the McDonald's French fry. But fear not, it doesn't even penetrate skin, not even paper. Eat it and it's a different matter, it has a certain death element to it. The thorium oxide coating there is not in the McDonald's French fry, although I'm sure that's not very good for you either.
Coating might turn yellow as a result. Put it under the sun for a bit and the yellow cast will go. These Takumas are some of the best 50s around. The focusing on it is smooth like butter and the bokeh is cream cheese-like. It's a dairy double whammy.
So if you want to understand why the fanboys stick by Pentax and get all sensitive and uppity when you bash their brand, then this is clearly not the reason. They probably just didn't get enough hugs as a kid. But this is a mighty fine lens, proof that Pentax makes some of the best glass around. So there we are, don't always think that cheap lenses are the worst. You can get some proper mint glass for not much of this. Thanks for watching and subscribe. And maybe watch this video if you got time, and social media profiles. See ya.